7-star Tera Electric Emboar raids have come, so let's talk about it. Starting off with moves and ability, Emboar's ability is Reckless. This means that every single move it uses that has recoil damage on it gets a power boost. And oh boy is it gonna use that. Because Emboar's coming with Flare Blitz, Wild Charge, and Head Smash. All three of these are really powerful moves that all have recoil damage and therefore get the boost from the ability. And two of them are even stab moves, which means they're even stronger. For its fourth regular move slot, Emboar is coming with Drain Punch, meaning it has a fighting stab move that can also heal it. I wouldn't worry about that too much. Unless that move is one-shotting you, it's really not healing it for all that much at the end of the day. Emboar's HP is about 40 times what it usually is, and that 50 damage it just did to you probably isn't giving it much back. As for moves it only uses as scripted actions, it's also coming with Bulk Up, giving it an attack and a defense boost. And also coming with Heat Crash, for a one-time decently strong fire move that's going to do a good amount of damage to you, but only if you're smaller than it. Heat Crash effectively being a fire-type version of Heavy Slam, meaning it does more damage the lighter you are compared to Emboar. Anyways, with the moveset out of the way, let's talk scripted actions. Emboar Shield is going to go up at 90% remaining HP, or 80% remaining timer. And at 90% timer remaining, it's going to reset the player's stats. This is actually the only time it's going to do that, so make sure you wait for this to happen before you start raising your Pokemon's stats at all. Then on top of that, Emboar's going to reset its own stats at 80% remaining timer. And then once again when it has 55% remaining HP. Then when Emboar is down to 40% remaining HP, it's going to use Bulk Up twice, giving it +2 to its attack and its defense. And then with 20% remaining HP, Emboar is going to use Heat Crash, which once again, depending on what Pokemon you bring, might not do much at all. But if you were planning on bringing something small to the raid, you might want to watch out for it. Anyways, with all that out of the way, let's talk tactics. Obviously, with Emboar being a Tera Electric Pokemon, the only typing that is super effective against it is Ground type. Which, conveniently, Emboar has absolutely no moves that are super effective against that type, so it's pretty safe. If you want to avoid the Drain Punch as well, maybe think about bringing a Ghost type. However, most of those don't really have a good way to boost their stats, so they're not wonderful aside from defensive. Honestly, I find something like Ground Dragon or Ground Water does wonderfully here, considering that resists or is straight up immune to basically everything in its kit. Special attackers are probably for the best here, considering Emboar does end up boosting its defense twice. However, since it only goes up 2 stages and it's towards the end of the raid, physical attackers do pretty good anyway. And since Emboar does reset its own stats twice over the course of the raid, any Pokemon that relies on lowering its defense to get its damage off is also not quite as good as a Pokemon that's boosting its own stats. Because Emboar only resets the player's stats once over the course of the raid, and it does it really early on, so you have all the opportunity in the world to get your build up and get going with damage. All in all, this isn't really that difficult to raid, which seems to be something I'm saying a lot recently. It definitely feels like they're not really trying to make these terribly challenging anymore, because a lot of these recently either haven't had a way to boost their own stats, or if they did, it was very limited. They stopped trying to cover the weaknesses with other attacks, or just plain relying on one single gimmick that's easily countered. I feel like when they first started doing the 7-star raids, the community really came together to figure out ways to take these on, and every subsequent raid we had to come up with something new because they decided to counter the thing we came up with last time. But I think after Mewtwo, they kind of stopped doing that, and now it's just decently easy raids the whole way through. However, moving right along, I know not everybody's here to try and figure out how to make their own build for this, so here are my builds for taking on the 7-star Tera Electric Emboar. Starting off with an offensive build, we have Garchomp. Garchomp resists the majority of what Emboar has in its kit, being completely immune to electric and resistant to fire. But the basic premise here is to use Earthquake until it resets your stats, then drop 3 Swords Dances and continue Earthquaking. Aside from that, I have Sand Attack here if you want to drop a little bit of a debuff on him, but it really doesn't do a whole lot in the long run. And Dragon Cheer, just in case you have a turn and you want to give your teammates some extra critical hit chance. All in all, it's a powerful build, and it does a fair amount of damage to Emboar. Moving on to support builds, once again, the supportive choice here is Cresselia. With Blissey getting demolished by Drain Punch and Cloyster getting dealt with real well by Wild Charge, Cresselia is once again the top support choice in this raid. With Reflect to half the incoming damage, Lunar Blessing to heal your teammates, and Helping Hand to boost their damage, it also comes Rock and Rain Dance to lower the damage on Flare Blitz and Heat Crash. Later on in the raid, once Emboar starts boosting its attack power, Cresselia will take a fair amount of damage, so make sure you keep that Reflect up at all times. Moving on to our second support build, we have Goodra. Goodra comes rocking Acid Armor to boost your defense for a little extra survivability. Life Dew to heal your teammates, and Breaking Swipe to lower Emboar's attack power. And with its gooey ability, every time Emboar hits it, its speed is going to go down, so everybody's going to have a good chance to be going first the whole raid. As an extra added bonus, just like the Garchomp, Goodra comes with Dragon Shear, giving your teammates a +1 to their crit chance. This also works really well as a support for my Garchomp build, because if you use Dragon Shear on a Dragon type, it actually gets +2 to its crit chance, which means Garchomp for the rest of the raid is going to have a 50% chance to crit, adding to the damage of that even more. The only thing missing on this build is Reflect, but with Breaking Swipe, you can just spam that for a little bit and drop his attack guard almost nothing anyway. And of course, sometimes it's hard to find online teammates, and randoms can be a little bit untrustworthy. And so here's my build for soloing the 7-star Tera Electric Emboar with Swampert. Putting the Swampert you cut a couple weeks ago to good use here. Start the raid by spamming Chilling Water until it resets your stats, and then go for 6 bulk ups. This will take 6 turns to set up, so make sure when your health starts getting low, you top yourself off with a heal cheer. Because as high as your defense is getting, and as low as their damage is going to be because of that, a well-timed critical hit is still going to take you out if you don't have enough HP left. Once you've got +6 to your attack and your defense, just start spamming Earthquake. And for a little bit of bonus, once the shield goes down, you can drop a Screech or 2 to lower its defense, just to add to your damage overall with that Earthquake. And very quickly with little difficulty, the Emboar goes down. Thank you for watching this video. If you like my Tera Raid content, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. It really helps the channel out. And if you need any help with future raids, make sure to drop by my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/IXIstudios. We're around 9:30 every time one of these raids drops on the Thursday. We go live doing the raid. I come prepared with builds to give you guys ideas of what to bring with you. And we almost always have an empty slot or 2, so you might be able to join us. Thank you for watching. I'll see you again in the next video. Peace.